Well, I'm sure you guys remember when Kiki Palmer got really up close and personal with Usher at one of his concerts, and it exploded in the media. Her boyfriend, Darius Jackson, objected to what she was wearing, saying it's not appropriate for a mother. But I think he was mostly angry that Usher was kind of trying to make some moves on Kiki Palmer at the time. Well, now we have news about their contentious relationship. They split up in October, but now she has gotten a restraining order against Darius Jackson, and she has been granted temporary sole custody of their son, who is 8 months old, named Leo. And they've found from her filing some footage where he appears to be attacking her in her home. She alleges that he's been physically violent to her, including an instance where he trespassed her home and threatened her before, quote, lunging for her neck, striking her, throwing her over the couch, and stealing her phone. So that incident allegedly happened on November 5th. That was only like a week and a half ago. So it's kind of shocking that this is just now coming out. And she included footage from as far back as February 2022, where he appears to be attacking her, but we don't have the footage. We just have some blurry screenshots. We don't really know what's going on. And a lot of people are saying that they saw this coming because of his controlling behavior about her, cozying up to Usher, and he seemed like he was insecure because he was saying that she shouldn't wear revealing outfits, and we should have known all along that he was this awful abuser, and he's finally been exposed and justice is being served. But he wholly denies that he's been abusive to her in any way, and we can't really know the truth. And this is only a temporary restraining order anyway. They're going to be doing a hearing in December, so this is just a temporary thing. But I saw some tweets reacting to the news. One said, controlling a partner's clothing choices is a major predictor of domestic violence. It's curious how men will always defend these lighter abuses, which typically precede physical violence, and then chide the woman for not seeing the warning signs.
Is there like, I hate to be that guy, but can I get a source, bro, on that? Like, is there like some, it's like this thing that I saw over the weekend where it said, I'm so mad I'm not going to be able to remember it now. It said, it was like one of these things where it said like, it was like a TED talk, right? And it says like not being able, like trans individuals not being able to pick their bathroom have like a so-and-so higher percentage of suicide. And someone's like, how do you even know that? Because how do you actually get the stats if the people are like based on suicide notes? Like, how would you even know that? Right? Mm-hmm. So like, is there some type of proof here that that there's actually some type of correlation between somebody who is not necessarily a fan of how she dresses and actually physically harming someone? Because that's an enormous leap.
If we're looking at that incident in a vacuum, I don't think that there was anything inherently wrong with what he was saying. Yeah, it seems kind of inappropriate to be in a relationship and then dancing and getting all up close and personal with another man, especially when you have a child with the guy that you're with. Now, they're not married, so there are different implications, but still, like, just on the surface, that seems inappropriate, but maybe they were in the middle of a back and forth where they're both slighting each other, right? Yeah. Another one said, it's always the loser, insecure men.
There's that comment again.
Yeah. People called this guy insecure because he didn't want his girlfriend and the mother of his child to be out in almost no clothing, dancing suggestively with another man. And I think that if we look at that incident in a vacuum, it's not unreasonable at all what he was saying. So at the time we defended him, but now she's alleging that there was something more serious going on in the background for years.
We are so far past that level, that aspect of society where that's going to be something that they're going to, like, look, you're not allowed to care how your partner dresses.
Well, you're not allowed to have standards, period.
Yes.
So this November 5th incident allegedly happened when she was supposed to let him pick up their son. They have separate a custody arrangement after they broke up. And he showed up to her house to pick up their son, and their son wasn't there. And she says that he trespassed into my home without my knowledge or consent and threatened her. And there's no footage or evidence of this so far, but she claims to have ring footage of it. She said there have been many instances of physical violence that include, quote, destroying my personal property, including diaries and eyeglasses, throwing my belongings into the street, throwing my car keys to prevent me from driving away, hitting me in front of our son, spewing profanities about me to our son, threatening to unalive himself with a gun if I left him, harassment, and other physical and emotional abuse. So those are some pretty serious claims, and if that is going on, that's obviously disgusting. And I hope that this guy isn't allowed around a child if this is the way that he's acting. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, we can't know. So the February 2022 footage, where we only have like a couple of blurry screenshots that were published in TMZ, it allegedly happened because he became, quote, violently jealous and irrationally angry over a bikini picture.
Do violently jealous, does that mean he hit her? And irrationally jealous, does that mean that there's a rational level of jealousy that would be acceptable in those situations?
It's not clear. It's not clear.
Like,
but I think if this was how their relationship was ever since they started dating in 2021, and that incident with her dancing with Usher only happened a couple of months ago, we have context for why she was provoking him, right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe he is insecure, maybe he is jealous, maybe he is violent and all of these things, but she's also doing things seemingly on purpose to provoke that reaction.
Do you believe that's what's happening?
It could be. I have no idea.
Yeah.
That doesn't justify his reaction.
Nope.
But it does show that she's willingly staying in a relationship that she knows is toxic, and she's been documenting it for at least a year. And she also chose to have a child with this man when she already knew that he was toxic and violent, because this February 2022 incident happened before she conceived her child.
It's very difficult now to figure out what any of it means, because in the social media era, and especially with celebrities, because there's so much power to be wielded by releasing information in a certain way.
Yeah. And she has more power in the media. She has a fan base.
She's able to weaponize that if she wants to, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that his behavior couldn't prevent her from doing that if he was controlling enough, especially if she was a submissive, subservient personality, which it doesn't seem like she is for the most part. But with all of these cases, I always fall back on the old age-old saying of like, who knows? Like who I feel bad for the kid. That's who I feel bad for more than anything, is the kid loses out more than anyone. They seem to be bad for each other, which makes perfect sense. It's a lot of times in relationships like that are extremely, as they say, toxic, that it's never just one person who makes the mistakes, that you are both inordinately bad for each other, and and even worse things come of the bad things that have already happened because you bring out the worst in the other person.
Yeah.
For him, it seems that her behavior seems to bring out the violence in him, which is not justified. But then it comes back to then don't stay, right? And I'm not here to question her life choices, other than like, get out of there for your kid's safety. If the kid's safety is at risk, you need to get the hell
get
out of there.
Get out of there before you even have a kid with this person who has revealed their true character to you. And it looks like they don't have good role models either, because Darius Jackson and Kiki Palmer's moms, respectively, are beefing with each other publicly.
That's the only part of it. If it wasn't for the domestic violence, this part of it would be kind of funny.
So allegedly, in this November 5th incident, Kiki Palmer called her mom while they were in the middle of this argument, and her mom started threatening.
You ever call your mom in the middle of an argument?
I don't think I've been in this situation.
Been in an argument before, though, I'm sure. You should call your mom. You're like, Mom, I'm in the middle of an argument. Help.
I don't think so. And her mom started allegedly making threats toward Darius Jackson, and he was trying to wrench the phone out of Kiki's hands, and he shouldn't do that. But they were, cussing at each other. It's this like intense situation. And then they released screenshots of the text messages between their mothers to TMZ. So Darius's mother texts Kiki's mother saying, "Hello, Sharon. How are you? I've tried not to get involved in my son's personal business, but I heard that you are going to put a bullet in my son's head. Well, then now we have to involve the authorities because you don't respect or value yourself, and I can see my son's life." I don't know what that means. "I will file a police report on you now." And Kiki's mother responded, "Do not contact me with this ridiculous childish behavior. Your son choked his own sister. Deal with his anger issues. If he attacks my daughter in her own home, where she pays the bills, he is trespassing and anything can happen, so he should stay away. You should be very ashamed to have raised a man who fights women." Why are these screenshots public?
Why is it? Well, I mean, whether they like it or not, the public will. We're part of that, right? The public will end up being fascinated by it. It's why I would never want to be any type of celebrity, because then on top of having to deal with all of the problems that come from your relationships, you have to deal with the public scrutiny that comes from it too. And nowadays, in the social media age, whoever is more well-known automatically has an advantage in setting the narrative. And what's more important to public discourse these days than the narrative for these people? They need to be able to control how they're perceived.
That's how Amber Heard used the media as a tool. And even if Kiki Palmer is in the right here, it's obvious that she is weaponizing the ring footage and the fact that this court filing is public, and people are going to be able to talk about it, and it's not in his favor in the court of public opinion. And now I feel like every guy who may not want his girlfriend or wife to be scantily clad in public and cozying up to other men in public are going to be lumped in with this guy and his alleged abusive, violent behavior. They're all abusers. They're all psychopaths. When in reality, his complaint, just looking at it without all this surrounding baggage, was perfectly reasonable.
No, but it's not by today's standards. By today's standards now, you're not allowed to ask that your girlfriend or the mother of your child dress in anything other than what she wants to wear on that particular day.
And it could be nothing but nipple pasties. And you have to be okay with that.
You're insecure and you just want to control her.
Right.
That's what they believe.
Another one said, "You can never convince me that men who try to control their girlfriend or wife aren't abusive."
They say control, but there's a difference between the idea of control. It's not like he's physically making her do that and saying, "Look, I think that what you're wearing is immodest."
Right. And it also, it wasn't totally coherent, because people talked about how in the past, Darius himself was the one posting videos and pictures of Kiki where she was wearing super revealing stuff. And he was contributing to that objectification in the public eye.
Yeah.
So maybe his own point of view doesn't really make sense.
But was that before they were dating or while they were dating?
It was while they were dating.
Okay, so but was that before the kid or after?
Like
the kid?
He posted a video.
Was that before the kid or after the kid though? If it was,
I don't know.
It's possible that if they have the child, he's like, look, now there's more than just you and me involved here. Now there's a child. Maybe now would be the time to start thinking about changing a standard of public appearance, of your public appearance. Again, though, even asking those questions goes against the modern feminist belief that you should have any opinion about your girlfriend or your wife other than wholehearted support 100% of the time.
So Pearly Things has a controversial gimmick that she does on Twitter where she will post a picture of a random celebrity woman or female influencer, and she will say, #I deem this outfit either appropriate or inappropriate for a wife and mother, completely irrespective of whether the woman in question is a wife and mother.
No, plus
usually they're not.
Plus, it's not like she's not the husband, so.
Right. So it's like, when it's the husband, let's hear him out.
Yeah.
Or when that woman actually is a mother or wife.
Yeah.
We can talk about that.
I think
if it's
Pearl is just really good at engagement farming.
Yeah,
She's
that's why she was
very good at
tweeting
engagement
about Bill
farming.
Burr's wife, because people were talking about Bill Burr's wife for totally unrelated reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we'll have to see what happens with this story and how it develops.
There's nothing crazier now than like imagine you get into a relationship with some celebrity and having to worry. I imagine it's how women who dated and married divorce attorneys felt back in the day when wanting to get a divorce. Like imagine trying to divorce like an awful, mean lawyer.
I don't even know how they met or what Darius Jackson does. I guess it says he is a former American football player. Okay, he was on the Dallas Cowboys.
A while ago,
the Green
though.
Bay Packers,
Yeah,
other
like,
teams.
The point is, though, is that between this story, the story about the wife who started the OnlyFans and then was surprised when the husband cared about starting the OnlyFans, the women with clout have way more. Like, is there a male analog to this? Is there a version of this where the guy takes to social media to control the narrative specifically?
I think Joe Jonas attempted to do that, but went way overkill, trying to weaponize the media in the middle of his divorce proceedings.
Yeah.
Because then people saw what he was doing. Like, we're accustomed to seeing PR get weaponized that way, and then they ended up being on Sophie Turner's side.
Yeah, but that story's like all but disappeared from the...
Nobody cares about it anymore.
Nobody cares. I mean, that's the sad fact of most of these stories is they have to control the narrative while they can because people lose interest very, very quickly, and you can't get that attention back. So, yeah, I just... I don't understand the idea that where we went wrong as a society where, like... Because it's also a thing where women like to, like... talk down to their men about you don't dress like look at my husband's wardrobe, he doesn't dress up enough, right? So women complain about how men dress. They just do it because they think they don't dress well enough, not necessarily about the the sexualization of their clothes.
Sure.
Like one of the most common ads I see is like on Instagram is like ads for like button-up shirts where it's like women say like the ad is for men, but it's women saying like I got my boyfriend to start wearing these shirts and then insert ad here, right? So clearly women also have opinions on how men dress. One of the things you see all the time is like women have critiques of men when they're single saying like, look, I miss when men dressed like men, when men wore suits and ties. How is that any different? Like if you're a wife or a girlfriend and you're like, you should wear suits and ties and not polos and jean shorts or something stupid like that. Sure, it's considered a little bit more hapless, but you're still in a fashion trying to insert your opinion of his fashion into his.
I mean, no one is willing to admit this, but in a relationship, everyone exerts some control over their spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend. And because you're in a relationship, that gives you the right to do that. So if you don't like that, if your views on that don't align, then don't be together.
It's just...
and also, to be fair to Kiki Palmer, a little bit, this guy should marry the mother of his child if he wants to actually have a claim over the way that she conducts herself, because that says something about you too.
Yeah. I mean, do we know maybe he proposed and she said no?
Honestly, she would be the type.
Yeah. That's very possible.
She would be the type to propose to him.
She's like, look, you're not Usher.
She really wants Usher. We know the truth.
That's what it is.
Usher is a menace.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.